Meanwhile, inside the Management Control Center of National Trial Arena, two lifeless bodies lie sprawled on the cold floor. The security cameras, which should have recorded everything, have nothing to show. Both the live broadcast footage and the war room recordings have been completely erased, as if the killer never even existed. A secretary, still trying to process the chaos, turns to director Jin Zayan, hesitantly asking whether the incident should be reported. The response is immediate and firm: no reports, no leaks. This is not something the world needs to know. A cameraman, standing slightly apart from the group, discreetly captures the scene on his own device. The decision to keep things internal is not up for debate. Jin Zayan knows that if this information spreads, it could shake the entire competition. Instead, he chooses to handle it within their own ranks. And as he stands there, processing the bloody mess in front of him, a name surfaces in his mind: Morgan. The pieces fit together too well. The method, the erasure of evidence, the precise execution, this has Morgan's signature all over it. Whatever game that man is playing, this is just another step in his plan. Meanwhile, far from the control center, in the heart of the national trial realm, a massive volcano has erupted. Above it, Lu Fan sits atop his companion, Xiao Ye, his black dragon lady, soaring effortlessly through the burning sky. The competition has entered a dangerous phase, one he had anticipated from the very beginning. With fewer participants left, mutual hunting is inevitable. However, he is well aware that while he is hunting others, there are also those who have set their sights on him. A quick glance at his status window causes a flicker of surprise. The display shows Nangu Yasenglai. A few swift commands allow him to trace the current location of Nangu Yasenglai. The discovery brings a smirk to his face. Turning to his dragon, he signals for a descent. The target is not far, and it is time for a long overdue meeting. Xiao Yai responds with a powerful roar, her massive form gliding smoothly over the volcanic terrain. Upon landing at the designated spot, Lu Fan steps forward, his gaze sweeping across the surroundings. There is no sign of Nangu Yasenglai. The area is eerily quiet, the only sound being the occasional rumble of the volcano. His eyes narrow as he takes in the empty space before him. Something is off. Hidden behind a large rock, Nangu Yasenglai keeps a careful eye on Lu Fan before finally stepping out of hiding. His voice breaks the silence as he calls out, approaching with a mix of hesitation and relief. Fear had gripped him for so long, but now, standing before Lu Fan again, the tension eases from his shoulders. Unlike the other competitors who kill without a second thought, Lu Fan had spared his life twice. More than that, Lu Fan had given him courage. Lu Fan responds with an amused smirk, pointing out that luck must be on Nangu Yasenglai's side for him to have lasted this long. Opening his status window once more, he checks Nangu Yasenglai's progress and immediately notices something strange. The point count remains frozen at 150,000, unchanged from before. Instead of offering an explanation, Nangu Yasenglai brushes it aside, admitting that survival has been his only goal. Fear has kept him from taking risks, yet fate has brought him back to Lu Fan. Lu Fan studies him, saying this calm, this late in the competition makes little sense. His instincts warn him that something is off. Closing his eyes for a brief moment, he speaks with certainty. At this stage, trust is a dangerous illusion. No one can afford to see another as a friend. The warning comes with action. He takes out his weapon and instructs Xiao Yai to scan the area. Xiao Yai rumbles low, her growl deep and menacing. Her senses, far sharper than any humans, have detected something lurking nearby, something hidden. Lu Fan immediately shifts his focus, scanning the area. The air feels heavier, the presence of mana swirling unnaturally around Nangu Yasenglai. His eyes lock onto a towering figure that emerges from behind, its enormous form casting a shadow over the battlefield. A summoned beast. The ground shakes beneath its weight as it raises a massive paw high into the air. The creature, far too large to be anything ordinary, lets out a deafening roar before lunging straight for Nangu Yasenglai. Nangu Yasenglai turns pale. His body trembles and his breathing becomes rapid. Fear grips him completely. His mouth opens, but no words come out at first. Then panic takes over and he screams for help, his voice cracking with desperation. His feet refuse to move, as if the fear has frozen him in place. The sharp eyes of Lu Fan take in the scene instantly. The creature is not just any wild monster. Its aura, its movements, everything about it screams one name: Jin Chenghen. This is the summoned beast, and not just any ordinary one. This is a holy mountain golem, a monster infused with ancient power, a creature built for destruction. Lu Fan wastes no time. A powerful barrier forms around him in an instant, shielding him from any surprise attacks. His fingers tighten around his weapon, and the next moment he summons his glowing bow, the Serpent Arrow. An attack with Serpent Arrow guarantees full damage on its target. A single hit would be enough to rip through this monster. He launches the arrow. The arrow speeds toward the beast, cutting through the hot air like lightning. But the monster is faster. Its giant mouth opens wide, and before anyone can react, it lunges forward. Nangu Yasenglei lets out one last scream before the beast swallows him whole. His cries vanish as if they never existed. The system notification pops up. It is official. Nangu Yasenglei is gone. A slow, mocking clap echoes through the burning air. Jin Chengyan steps forward, his face stretched into an arrogant smirk. His eyes shine with amusement, as if watching Nangu Yasenglei get eaten was nothing more than entertainment. His voice drips with fake sympathy as he greets Lu Fan. He acts like he regrets taking these points that were meant for Lu Fan, but the grin on his face shows the truth. He enjoys every bit of this moment. Musashi stands beside him, silent but ready. He tells Lu Fan that soon his points will be theirs as well. Lu Fan observes them carefully. The way their energy pulses, the strange golden glow surrounding them, it all confirms one thing. Their strength has increased, but instead of looking impressed, he simply scoffs. These two are nothing more than Holy Mountain slaves now. No matter how much power they gained, the price they paid for it is clear. A status window appears displaying their current levels. The numbers don't lie. The boost in their abilities is obvious. Lu Fan connects the dots in an instant. These two have teamed up with Charles, which means Charles is the mastermind behind this ridiculous hunt. Right on cue, Charles steps into view, his ever-present smirk stretching across his face. His eyes gleam with arrogance, fully expecting Lu Fan to acknowledge the power they now hold. The system suddenly flashes a new alert. A hunter encounter is about to begin. Another notification follows, revealing Charles' status. The result is laughable. He, too, is a Holy Mountain slave. Charles tilts his head, still smiling, but his expression carries a certain smugness. He isn't here just to fight. He has something else in mind first. Before they try to kill Lu Fan, he makes an offer. Instead of being hunted down, Lu Fan can surrender. If he gives himself to the Holy Master, he will gain holy powers. In other words, he can throw away his freedom and become a slave just like them. Lu Fan looks at the Holy Mountain Essence crystal, its glow flickering temptingly, but his mind immediately drifts to his own fallen corpse essence. A sudden realization clicks into place. Charles must have used this very same method to trick Jin Chenghan and Musashi. Jin Chenghan and Musashi step forward, trying to persuade him. They claim there is no need for a fight. They insist he should join them instead. A sharp laugh escapes from Lu Fan. The very idea is so ridiculous that he can't help but mock them. They'd really believe he would lower himself to their level. Charles' smirk vanishes in an instant. His expression darkens, his pride taking a hit. His voice rises, filled with anger. He can't believe Lu Fan dares to look down on them after everything. Lu Fan's smirk doesn't fade. His eyes glint with amusement as he delivers another blow to their egos. Even with all their so-called holy power, they have only reached the level of his dragon's summoned creatures. Charles' fists tighten. The deal is over. No more talking. He turns to Jin Chenghan and Musashi, his voice filled with hatred. It is time for revenge. Lu Fan humiliated them before. Now they have the chance to return the favor. Jin Chenghan's lips curl into a grin. His eyes burn with rage, his mind filled with past grudges. His body tenses for battle. This is the moment he has been waiting for. Without hesitation, he lunges forward. His hands, now shaped like claws, slice through the air with deadly force. Lu Fan watches with sharp focus. His movements remain calm, effortless. His body shifts at the perfect moment, avoiding the attack with ease. His serpent arrow materializes, ready to strike. His gaze remains cold as he studies them. These two willingly threw away their dignity for power. They became slaves by choice. And now they expect him to do the same. Pathetic. Musashi leaps from a high cliff, landing smoothly on the battlefield. His movements are confident, and he adjusts his mask, tilting his head slightly as if disappointed. He had given Lu Fan a chance to walk away, but now he sees no need for mercy. A system notification appears, revealing the details of his Oni mask and the unique powers it grants him. Charles, standing a few steps away, raises his hand, which glows with holy essence. The swirling energy around his fingers pulses with power. His eyes hold amusement as if he already knows how this battle will end. He has no intention of letting Lu Fan die so easily. Instead, he wants to turn him into a mindless Holy Mountain golem, stripping him of his will and forcing him to serve the very power he despises. Lu Fan remains unimpressed. His mana flares up, filling the battlefield with a strong presence. The idea that these so-called warriors think they can stand against him is ridiculous. His mind flashes back to the Northern War, where he faced an ancient god and emerged victorious. Compared to that, these three are nothing but insects buzzing around thinking they are lions. Musashi studies him carefully, his sharp gaze searching for weakness. He notices something different. Lu Fan is calmer, more composed. A smirk forms on Musashi's lips. In his arrogance, he assumes Lu Fan has finally realized his fate. He thinks fear has taken hold of him, making him obedient. Lu Fan tells Xiao Ye to transform into the destructive dragon form. Xiao Ye reacts to his will, its black scales shimmering before its body begins to change. A system notification appears. Xiao Ye has now transformed into the destructive dragon. Flames as bright as molten lava engulf his body, distorting the air with intense heat. Her aura burns so fiercely that even its own wounds begin to heal instantly. Lu Fan is not in the mood to let these three get out of this realm alive. Xiao Ye uses the lava flame, an attack that continuously spits flames forward, dealing damage while healing Xiao Ye. Musashi dodges with amusement. He mocks that this power boost will not make a difference. Lu Fan doesn't waste time. His sword slices through the air with incredible force, aimed directly at the summoned crawler of Jin Chengyan, but the attack is blocked. Jin Chengyan sneers from the sidelines. He is fully convinced that no matter how much Lu Fan struggles, the outcome is already decided. Landing atop his dragon, Lu Fan releases a surge of green mana as he calls his Emerald Dragon Lady Xiao Fei. A plan forms in his mind, one that will turn this entire fight to his advantage. If his fallen corpse twin dragons absorb the holy essence of Charles, and all three of them, Charles, Musashi, and Jin Chengyan, will belong to him. Lu Fan instructs Xiao Ye to use lava eruption. Xiao Ye roars, and a massive wave of fire rushes forward, swallowing everything in its path. The system instantly notifies that the dragon's lava eruption can drag enemies into magma while continuously burning them. Another notification appears, revealing the dragon language resonance ability. This special ability doubles the power of both Lu Fan and Xiao Ye, making them even more unstoppable. Jin Chengyan's eyes widen in shock as the battlefield turns into a sea of flames. His body tenses as panic takes over, and he instinctively tries to flee. Musashi, struggling against the heat, crosses his swords in front of him, trying to endure the unbearable firestorm. His body trembles, and a cry of pain escapes him as the scorching flames lick at his skin. Lu Fan watches their struggle with amusement. He knows they are too weak to challenge him. Their so-called strongest summons are nothing more than pathetic creatures in front of his dragon. Jin Chengyan hesitates, confused by Lu Fan's confidence. He has already summoned his most powerful beast, the Holy Abyss Excavator, yet Lu Fan still looks down on him. Fatigue quickly sets in for Jin Chengyan and Musashi, their breaths growing heavy after just one attack. Lu Fan, still calm and relaxed, observes their exhaustion. His dragon barely made an effort, yet they are already struggling to stand. Musashi stares at Xiao Ye, unable to understand how such a young dragon, one that has not even reached its full strength, can hold so much power. Lu Fan, however, sees this as an opportunity. The enemies before him are weak, and defeating them will only increase his points. Charles watches in frustration, his expression hardening. His patience runs thin as he grips his holy sword. Without hesitation, he decides that Lu Fan must be punished for his arrogance. Holy energy gathers in his hands as he activates the incantation for the flame of divine punishment. The sky shifts, and suddenly, burning flames rain down, covering the battlefield in divine fire. A system notification appears, explaining the ability's effects. The attack deals 5 times the normal damage and adds a burning effect that lasts for 10 seconds. However, Lu Fan remains unfazed. If this is the best Charles can do, then the so-called master he serves must not be very powerful either. With no time to waste, Lu Fan activates his Dragon Annihilation ability. His movements become a blur as he delivers a series of 6 rapid attacks while casting a spell to dodge the falling flames. The battlefield erupts into chaos once again. Charles, growing more frustrated by the second, grits his teeth and calls Lu Fan a fool. His patience is gone. In a sudden fit of rage, he shatters the holy essence in his hands, causing a surge of yellow mana to explode outward. The force of it crackles through the air like a warning, a clear sign that something dangerous is coming. His fury is far from over. With a sharp glare, he declares that it is time to reveal the true power of the ancient gods. The energy around him intensifies as he channels his mana, his body glowing brighter with each passing moment. In a flash of light, his form shifts, transforming into a golden knight with 4 massive wings. His entire body radiates golden aura, the sheer presence of it shaking the battlefield. Lu Fan narrows his eyes, wondering if Charles has been gathering energy all this time for an even greater attack. But he's not about to wait and find out. There is no need to give Charles time to unleash whatever he is planning. Without hesitation, Lu Fan raises his serpent bow and activates his serpent arrow skill. A notification pops up in his vision, confirming the activation. The serpent bow can fire 12 magic arrows without drawing the bow. Each arrow deals 20% damage. 12 arrows burst forth, each one glowing with deadly energy as they streak through the air toward Charles. They strike him directly, one after another, but something is wrong. Despite the powerful hits, Charles stands firm, his golden armor barely scratched. Lu Fan quickly realizes what is happening. The power of the ancient gods is shielding Charles, creating a defense even stronger than the Nine Realms' demons. This is no ordinary protection, it is a force that defies normal attacks. There is no time to hesitate. Lu Fan immediately activates his Dragon Encouragement skill, boosting his attack power by 30%. Shou Ye, his dragon, lets out a deafening roar in response, shaking the ground beneath them. The system flashes another notification. Shou Ye has increased strength, but Lu Fan is not done yet. At the same time, he activates another powerful ability, Shadow Serpent Arrow. The Serpent Bow can charge for 3 seconds to fire a Shadow Serpent Arrow, increasing damage by 500%. Lu Fan does not hesitate. He commands his dragon to cast Lava Eruption at the same time. The system immediately registers the increase in charge, recognizing the deadly combination about to be unleashed. Charles senses the immense power building up and braces himself for impact. His expression hardens as he prepares to withstand the incoming attack, but he has no idea what is about to hit him. Lava Eruption combined with Shadow Serpent Arrow. The attack erupts flames in the target area, forming a massive lava pool. Targets within the pool will gradually sink into the magma and take continuous heavy damage. Power increased to 500% of the Black Dragon's spirit attribute. The system records another increase in charge count, reaching 3. Lu Fan does not let up. He follows up with another round of Serpent Arrow attacks, giving his dragon the command to unleash all of its abilities at once. A system message pops up confirming the full activation of their combined assault. The battlefield shakes violently as a massive explosion engulfs everything in its path. The intense heat scorches the surroundings, turning the ground into molten lava. But even after all of this, Charles refuses to fall. He emerges from the fiery destruction, his golden armor barely cracked. He lifts his head and declares with confidence that his master's power surpasses anything Lu Fan has shown so far. Without hesitation, he charges forward, prepared to take on both Lu Fan and his dragon in direct combat. The Black Dragon suddenly undergoes another transformation mid-battle, shifting into its world-ender form. Its body expands, its scales darken further, and its aura becomes overwhelming. The system immediately acknowledges the activation of this skill, displaying a notification of the dragon's immense power increase. Shou Ye uses the world-ending roar attack. The world-ending roar deals massive damage to all targets in range and applies a vulnerability effect. Lu Fan wastes no time. He combines his Serpent Arrow attack with the world-ending roar, causing another system alert to appear. The notification details the immense strength of their combined force, showing a drastic boost in attack power. Musashi comes forward to counter Shou Ye. He uses Ghost Scythe Demon Slash and counters her attacks with unexpected strength. Each Ghost Scythe Demon Slash releases a high-speed rotating wind blade that cuts through Shou Ye attacks and deals physical damage. Lu Fan is momentarily caught off guard. He had not expected Musashi to withstand the dragon's power so effectively. It's almost impressive, almost. But instead of wasting time being surprised, he moves swiftly, dodging every attack with ease. Musashi swings his swords furiously, but nothing lands. Each strike is met with nothing but air as Lu Fan weaves through them effortlessly, making Musashi look like a child flailing sticks around. Charles, watching from a safe distance like the coward he is, finally sees an opening. Not wanting to waste the opportunity, he activates Flame of Divine Punishment, unleashing sacred fire across the battlefield. The system announces the terrifying effects of the attack, holy flames that burn at 500% strength and leave lingering damage every second. Golden fire spreads in all directions, racing toward Lu Fan with deadly intent. The attack is fast, and the battlefield is suddenly filled with scorching light. Lu Fan, mid-dodge, finds himself surrounded. Lu Fan notices the attack too late and has no time to react. He attempts to counter it with a cross slash from his sword, but his effort fails. The divine flames overwhelm his defense, forcing him back. Jin Cheng'en watches with satisfaction, sneering as he claims that without his dragon, Lu Fan is nothing. Musashi nods in agreement, confirming that their plan has worked. Charles, confident in their strategy, calmly explains that by separating Lu Fan from his dragon, they have successfully weakened him. The battle is as good as over. However, before they can celebrate their so-called victory, an unexpected sight freezes them in place. Lu Fan appears high in the air, soaring above the battlefield with wings spread wide. His expression remains calm, as if he had never been in danger to begin with. He questions whether they truly believe they have trapped him. His words send a ripple of doubt through his enemies. Charles demands an explanation, his grip tightening around his sword. while Jin Chang'an and Musashi insist that Lu Fan's arrogance will not save him. But before they can act, another shocking development takes place. Without warning, the Nine Realms demons materialize around Lu Fan, surrounding him like a protective force. The battlefield is instantly filled with dark, monstrous figures. Musashi stares in disbelief, his voice rising as he demands to know when Lu Fan managed to summon these creatures. Charles and Jin Chang'an are just as stunned, unable to comprehend how the situation has shifted so suddenly. Lu Fan smirks, his eyes gleaming with amusement. He reveals that he had been aware of their plan from the very beginning. However, instead of reacting, he had played along, allowing them to believe they had the upper hand. While they were so focused on executing their strategy, he had quietly set his own into motion. Charles, growing more irritated, points his holy sword at Lu Fan, dismissing the summoned creatures as nothing more than fallen corpse puppets. He remains convinced that they will not be enough to defeat them. Lu Fan simply twists his fingers with a grin, casually agreeing that they may indeed be outnumbered. Then, without hesitation, he raises his hand and summons all of his demons at once. The battlefield trembles as even more creatures appear, their menacing forms towering over the stunned enemies. He taunts them with a confident smile, suggesting that perhaps the enemy forces are still too small to secure victory. The Nine Realms demons waste no time. They immediately lunge forward, their claws and fangs gleaming in the firelight. The battlefield erupts into chaos as they charge at Charles, Musashi, and Jin Chang'an, attempting to seize them before they can react. The enemy had walked into a trap, and now the real battle begins. And that was it from today's video. I hope that you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like button as the goal for today is 1,500 likes. Comment next part down below to see what happens next. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.